911, what's the location of the emergency?
My daughter is missing. She's gone. We can't find her anywhere. I've called all her friends.
How old is she?
11.
And when was the last time that she was seen?
It was at 6 o'clock, Street. Around 6 o'clock.
February 1st, 2004. Super Bowl Sunday. Sarasota, Florida. 11-year-old Carlie Brucia was walking home from a friend's house that evening. It was a route she knew well, through a quiet neighborhood. But Carlie never made it home. Within hours, her family reported her missing. Search teams mobilized. Volunteers scoured the streets. But what made this case different from thousands of other missing children cases was what happened next. A car wash surveillance camera had been recording, and it captured everything. The footage showed a man in a mechanic's uniform approaching Carlie. He grabbed her arm. He led her away. The video aired on national news networks, and the response was immediate. Over 800 tips poured in from across the country. People were watching. People wanted to help. But there was something else on that grainy footage, something investigators couldn't quite make out. So they turned to NASA. Yes, NASA. Their technology enhanced the video, revealing a detail that would crack this case wide open, a name tag on the man's uniform that read, Joe. What you're about to see changed how America responds to missing children forever. Before we continue, if cases like this matter to you, subscribe to channel. We tell the stories that demand justice and remembrance.
We have a news alert out of the state attorney's office for the 12th Judicial Circuit. The man convicted of kidnapping, sexual assaulting, and murdering Carlie Brucia back in 2004 has died in prison. The Attorney General notified State Attorney Ed Brodsky that Joseph Smith died. His office says the cause of death is unknown. Brucia was 11 years old when she was taken from a car wash in Sarasota.
Susan says, hey, can you go pick up Carlie? She started walking down Beers. And I just said, where's she at? She was Connie's. And I said, that's the one over here. And she said, yeah. I said, okay, I'm leaving right now. And I'll get the right one. Okay. Carlie spent the night Saturday?
Yes.
Anything?
Sunday morning, I woke up. I don't know. Nothing happened Saturday night. Okay. You know, they were giddy and all night long. You know, I was sleeping in the other room. So I woke up Sunday morning, like I normally do, get up, get ready for work.
So if you didn't see her at any point after...
During the day?
During the day, or if you went to work?
Absolutely not.
Is that what you wore to work Sunday, or did you...
No, actually I had a Super Bowl shirt on yesterday. A great shirt.
They showed him a photograph of Carlie with the man in the car wash.
Is that...
I haven't the slightest idea, so it's definitely not me. It does look like me, doesn't it, though?
Yeah, it kind of looks like you. That's why we're talking to you.
Wow. Yeah, that definitely would not be me there. Honest.
The deputies that you spoke to that night think that that's you.
Okay, it's not me. Blow it up. Do what you got to do. Verify my time, where I was. You know, I'm more than glad to work with you guys and anything. Believe me, there is no way. I mean, that was me. Honest to God, no way at all. I would never put anybody through that. No way.
How do we get past that, though? That's
verifying where I was at 6:21.
The tips led investigators directly to Joseph P. Smith, a 37-year-old man already on probation for drug offenses. He had a history, a repeat offender known to law enforcement. Witnesses reported seeing a yellow Buick circling the area where Carlie was last seen. Smith had borrowed that exact car. A bloodhound tracked Carlie's scent from her last known location straight to the car wash where the surveillance footage was recorded. The pieces were falling into place. Days later, Carlie's body was discovered behind a church. She had been strangled. Evidence showed she had been sexually assaulted. She was found naked from the waist down, wearing only one sock. The ligature marks told investigators exactly how she died. But the evidence against Joseph Smith was overwhelming. Forensic teams found fibers from Carlie's shirt that matched the interior of the yellow Buick. Strands of her hair were recovered from inside the vehicle. And Smith's DNA matched the semen found on Carlie's clothing. There was no doubt. Joseph Smith was arrested and charged. In 2005, he was convicted of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and sexual battery. The jury sentenced him to death. 4 years, his legal team filed appeals, pushing for resentencing. The case dragged on. Carlie's family waited for final closure.
You could feel the tension in the courtroom. The judge warned everyone, scream or shout, and you're tossed out. And then came the verdict, broadcast across the country.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count one of the charges. The defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree as charged.
Carlie Brucia's mother broke down crying and said, "Thank you, Jesus." Carlie's father simply nodded in approval. Joseph Smith, guilty on all counts. Bailiffs began preparing to take Smith away when the judge had to slow them down.
You need to just slow down for 1 second.
Smith will be back in court a week from Monday when the same jury returns to recommend a life or death sentence.
I will now be preparing to present further evidence on November the 28th and will be arguing that a sentence of life in prison without possibility of parole is the best decision in this case.
I lost one of the most precious things to me in my life because of an animal, a disgusting, perverted animal.
The jury took 5 hours to pour over the evidence. The surveillance video, the letter that Smith sent to his brother, and the recorded conversations between Smith and his mother where he admitted killing her.
Joe, the best thing that you could do is just try and explain it was an accident.
Mom, it was an accident, Mom.
I know that, Joe.
You don't think that I would do that on purpose, Mom?
No.
And if Carlie's mother could speak to Smith,
If I could speak to him, I'd like to know why he chose my daughter and why he had to kill her. And I'm sure she'd let him know that she was only 11 years old. How could he go through with it?
On February 1st, 2004, surveillance cameras behind a Sarasota, Florida car wash captured the moment 11-year-old Carlie Brucia was abducted by Joseph Smith. Smith confronted the 6th grader in an empty parking lot, grabbed her by the arm, and kidnapped her. Carlie was then raped and strangled to death. Police found Carlie's body 4 nights later. After the moment, mechanic and father of 3 confessed to family members that he killed her. Joseph Smith was convicted and sentenced to death. Now that death sentence has been overturned by an appeals court. So could her killer escape death row? Joining us now to discuss the latest developments in this case is crimeonline.com's Nancy Grace. Nancy, Smith has been on death row now for 12 years. Why is his death sentence being vacated, and what do we know about this loophole?
Well, I've got to tell you, Carlie's parents are absolutely devastated. Her mother, of course, died very shortly, about a month after she learned about this reversal. The father is devastated. This is what went down. In Florida, for a death penalty sentence, the jury doesn't have to be unanimous. This jury was 10-2. For the death penalty. And there was a Supreme Court ruling in State versus Hurst that said it had to be unanimous. Now that ruling was after Brucia's murder, but it's being applied retroactively to other people on the Florida death row. So while his case in chief, guilt innocence, is not being touched, the sentencing portion only. As you know, Jesse, in a death penalty case, there is a guilt innocence phase and then a death penalty phase. It's a bifurcated or double trial. So the sentencing phase has to be retried.
This is a terribly sad story, Nancy. There's some gruesome details here. What do we know about the killer in this case?
Oh, Jesse, you know, you look at Carlie Brucia, she's 11 years old. That's a year older than my twins are right now. Still just a baby. In fact, that night, Jesse, she was having a little sleepover at her little friend girl's house up the street. She was only about a block and a half away from home. She was going home the next morning and she cut, instead of going all the way to the corner and turning, she cut across the back of a car wash in their neighborhood. And that is when the defendant, Joseph Smith, he was an unemployed auto mechanic with a long criminal history, including drug abuse. He had just had a probation violation and they let him out just in time for him to horribly, brutally attack Carlie Brucia and murder her. Her body found out in a wooded area behind a local church 4 days later.
And it's an important point you make right there, Nancy, because a lot of people that have followed this case, they're wondering, with what we know about Joseph Smith and his long criminal past, as you just alluded to, how did the justice system fail Carlie in this case?
Oh, it just breaks my heart because this guy, Joseph Smith, he has filed dozens of appeals while he's been sitting on death row, claiming everything was unfair. What was unfair is that he kidnapped this girl, and I remember the video. I've played it over in my mind 100 times, of her walking along. She's looking down, and he grabs her by the arm and then takes her off. and that's the last she is known or seen of until her partially nude body, nude from the waist down, is found. She's only wearing a shirt and one sock when her body beaten, abused is found. Well, I'll tell you what. I understand why the Supreme Court wants unanimous verdict in the sentencing phase, but to apply this ruling retroactively, I think is so unfair to the crime victim's family, the Brucias in this case.
And Nancy, with everything you know about this case, what do you think the odds are of Smith escaping the death penalty?
Well, you know, as time passes, that's a prosecutor's nightmare to have to retry a case that's 10 years, 12 years old. Like this one, witnesses disappear, they die, their memories fade. But one thing doesn't fade, Jesse, the video. The video and the way this child's body was found. If they don't cop a plea and they take this to a new jury, I predict he will get the death penalty.
All right, well, we'll continue to follow developments in this case. And as always, Nancy, thank you so much for bringing us all the latest.
On July 26, 2021, Joseph Smith died in Union Correctional Institution at the age of 55. The legal proceedings ended. He would never face execution, but he died behind bars. Carlie's death was a tragedy that shook Florida and the entire nation. But her case created something lasting. It led directly to the passage of Carlie's law legislation that improved how missing children alerts are issued and managed. Florida strengthened its Amber Alert system. Other states followed. The protocols we have today for responding to child abductions were influenced by what happened to Carlie. That surveillance footage became a turning point. It proved how critical technology could be in solving these cases. Law enforcement agencies across the country began investing in better camera systems, better communication networks, better training. Carlie Brucia's name is now part of a legacy of change. Her family's pain led to action. The community's outrage led to reform. And while nothing can bring her back, the systems put in place because of her case have helped locate and rescue other children. We remember Carlie not just for how she died, but for the lives her case has helped protect. Carlie's law exists because people demanded action after her death. Have you heard of it in your state? What other safety measures do you think we need to protect children? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story moved you, please like and share this video. Awareness saves lives. And subscribe to this channel for more cases that matter. Your support helps us continue telling these important stories. Thank you for watching and for keeping Carlie's memory alive. Justice was served, but we must never forget.